Put a wink when you was looking at me.
That's what I
You
did.
was good.
I knew you. Dang it. How are you? Yeah.
District 1 on an island?
Good evening, and welcome to the, what is today's date? February 8th? 10th. February 8th, 2025, public hearing regarding HB 581. This is a public hearing, meaning that we will hear from staff, and then we will hear from the public. And we are here to hear you today. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lamadise Holmes, controller in the Division of Finance. This is public hearing number 3 on House Bill 81. So what is Georgia House Bill 581? The bill was created in response to concerns from the Georgia legislature about increasing property values and property taxes. The floating homestead exemption's goal is to control assessments of properties by freezing property values. The property tax reform bill was signed into law on April 18, 2024, and was voted on by taxpayers on November 5th. The bill provides relief and clarity to taxpayers by offering the following: a statewide floating exemption, an optional sales tax to further offset property taxes, and property tax reforms. The bill does not eliminate existing property exemptions that some counties already have. Some of the most frequently asked questions are as follows. Does it affect a homeowner's existing homestead or similar exemptions? No, Georgia House Bill 581 does not override existing homestead exemptions for any jurisdiction. It may override existing floating, base year, and frozen exemptions if the House Bill 581 exemption provides a greater benefit to the taxpayer. What happens if the home is improved or is destroyed? Substantial changes to the property are considered when assessing the property. Any substantial change will increase or decrease the adjusted base year value of the home. Can we opt in or out at a later date? There is no future opportunity for the local government to opt in or rejoin House Bill 581 exemption. However, other local governments may still obtain a similar homestead exemption in a traditional manner of having their local legislatures create their own exemptions. Can the floating homestead exemption be transferred to a new owner of the home? No, the homestead exemption is not portable or transferable. It is tied both to the property owner and the home. However, in the case of a surviving spouse who was not on the deed at the time of the spouse's death, said surviving spouse may continue the homestead exemption in the same manner as the deceased spouse, provided that the surviving spouse is otherwise eligible for the homestead exemption. Does Chatham County already have a floating exemption? Yes. The largest exemption in Chatham County is called the Stevens Day Homestead Exemption. It is named after area politicians Ron Stevens and Burke Day, who sponsored the law in the state legislature in 1998. The Stevens Day bill allows homeowners to freeze property taxes based upon their purchase price, but only for their primary residence. It was proposed to prevent homeowners from being taxed out of their homes when the property value went up. The legislation saved many local residents hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. Their legislation became the framework for other counties and eventually this statewide House Bill 581 legislation. The Stevens Day exemption freezes your home value to the base year value, providing stability. However, it allows gradual increases in home value based on inflation for the school district and the city of Savannah taxes. This exemption protects homeowners from sudden and rapid increases in property taxes, promoting affordability. Stevens Day has been litigated and amended throughout its 25 years of existence and is considered the best homestead exemption in the state of Georgia. By comparison, there are only a few differences. House Bill 581 covers properties that are larger than 5 acres. Base values for both frameworks increase by a rate of inflation. Stevens Day started out using inflation rates and switched to a CPI calculation. House Bill 581 is expected to use a similar CPI calculation, but will include information from an urban area. House Bill 581 provides a statewide exemption, whereas Stevens Day is just for Chatham County residents only. House Bill 581 also allows local jurisdictions to opt out. Cities and counties can use a sales tax option approved through a local referendum. As we look at the Consumer Price Index comparison for CPI and CPI-U that is being recommended by the state, there is very little difference for the last 10 years of historical data. On this slide, we show the comparison of annual taxes if we use the last 10 years and duplicate the pattern for the next 10 years. For a current homeowner, their first year under House Bill 581 uses tax year 2024 to establish the base year. Here, House Bill 581 calculation doesn't benefit a current homeowner, and over a 10-year period, they would end up paying an additional $9,574. This slide uses the same CPI information for someone that buys a home this year. For the first couple of years, the annual taxes are the same, but could favor the Stevens Day calculation moving forward. Things to consider. The pros for opting in are not the same in Chatham County as most other counties because we have had the same local legislation for the last 25 years. The cons for opting in are based upon uncertainties. Opting in will require an enormous amount of time, additional staff, and work for county staff to prepare the calculations that could complicate the exemption process. This, combined with the uncertainties of future state amendments designed to benefit taxpayers in other counties, doesn't provide a stable environment. Our local legislatures can amend the Stevens Day bill when needed, as they have in the past, to benefit the residents of Chatham County. We believe this is why every municipality in Chatham County is choosing to opt out of House Bill 581. This concludes the presentation portion of public hearing number 3. The vote on this resolution is scheduled for February 19th.
Thank you very much. Okay, it is now time for us to listen to you. So if you would like to comment, please come up to the podium to speak. Anyone? Okay. Yes, please.
I'll be brief. I support opting out. Cheryl Gay. I support opting out of this bill. I would also, while I have the mic for a minute, encourage you to please lower the millage rate when you have a chance coming up, because you've been the beneficiary of the rapidly rising home values in Savannah. Thanks, but opt out. I'm for opting out.
All right, thank you.
Hey, I appreciate y'all giving us time to, Tommy Matthew is my name.
Sorry?
Tommy Matthew.
Tommy Matthews.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all giving us this time to voice our opinion on that. I'm like the following lady, I'd like to opt out on that as well until we find out more about it. There's a lot of outside influences that are coming into Savannah. We would like to kind of keep the status quo and try and keep Savannah. There's just a lot of change. I've noticed my taxes have gone up from $2,000 to $2,700 in 1 year. That concerns me as I grow older and look at maybe retiring one day, what that tax rate might look like. I've benefited from the Stevens Day bill for years now, and I like it. So anyway, I appreciate y'all giving us the time here, and please keep Savannah.
Thank you very much.
Hey, good evening. Vicki Bradley. So a question I have, is it, and I don't know if y'all can answer back, but is it true that the state legislature is still looking at changing this bill some? Because if they are, do we need to wait and see what happens with it before a vote is made so the public can know exactly what is in the bill and make an informed decision, y'all's party and we the people? And let me just reiterate for Cheryl Gay, please lower the millage rate.
I understand. So, yes, Sean.
We're not so, I don't know if we're supposed to or not, but all we can go by is what the legislature has actually passed. And right now, we have to opt in or opt out by March 1st. Our understanding is they are actively looking at moving that deadline out, about amendments to the bill, because there's questions. But we can't act based on what might happen. We can only act based on what they've actually passed right now. So it would be helpful if you reached out to your General Assembly members and say, hurry up, so that the local municipalities can delay a decision until you've cleaned up the bill.
And that's what I was going to ask, and we would be more than happy to get a lot of people on that then.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank y'all.
Dr. Brigham.
Yes, adding I see it as we have to hold hearings to have the option to opt out. By default, we would just be opted in by how the bill passed. So when the district said we're going to hold hearings, I was like, well, that will at least give us the option, because we will have done what the law says you have to do and have 3 public hearings if you want to opt out. Having the public hearings does not mean that we have to opt out. We will still, as a board, have to vote. This just allows us to check that box off so that if the state comes back with something different, we've already at least done that hurdle, and we can decide then whether to go one way or the other. So it at least checks those boxes so we don't have to hurry and have a bunch of hearings if they change some things.
Anyone else? Mr. Jones? Oh, well, sir.
I appreciate it, Buzz. If you don't know who I am, I'm James Jones. When this bill was put up for us to vote on last year, I said we didn't need to do it then. I think we do need to opt out of it. We are a benefactor of the Stevens Day bill for a long time. My dad has been a long time proponent of it, and so I think we need to stick with our guns and stay far away from opting out. And I guess I don't know them, but I agree with them about the millage rate, and I'm walking away. I know them now.
Okay.
Josephine Martin. I think my question, and this is the first meeting I've been to, so I want to I don't know that y'all really will have the clarification. As I understand the new bill, if it passes and we don't opt out, Stevens Day would go away.
No.
Okay. I'm in favor of opting out, All right. That being said, from a school board perspective, didn't y'all opt out of Stevens Day?
No.
How come my taxes on my school board are different than on my property? I mean, I know millage rate, but my values of taxation. So is the school board going to opt out of the opt-out?
Hang on.
Does that make sense?
Mr. Jackson?
Does that make any sense?
I think you're referring to why your property assessed values, well, not the assessed value, but the property calculation goes up every year. With Stevens Day, there's a clause that it does go up by a rate of inflation, just like the House Bill 581 will.
Right.
And it only applies to City of Savannah property taxes and Chatham County School Board taxes. So it does go up by a small percentage rate every year, if that answers your question.
Right, and that's of the assumption that inflation goes up every year.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Does it go down every year if inflation goes down?
There has been some years when CPI did go down. Yes, ma'am.
I also would be in favor of opting out and staying with the Stevens Day rule.
Absolutely.
And then the school board looking at where y'all's assessments are on Stevens Day values. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Thank you very much for coming out this evening, and we did hear you. Thank you. We are adjourned.